Right, I'm not starting with the the usual intro, mainly because I want to keep this kind of short. I say that every time, never happens, but see if we can get to the point, and then I can go and sit with the wife. So, as you know, I've been on holiday. Not much has changed. I posted a video to show the progression from just before I went away on holiday for the week. I posted a video, as you're probably aware, shows the progression of what I promised for the Kickstarter and the journey and where we are now, which just seems to have gone down quite well. I did two versions. One was for the Kickstarters that went into money, and then the other one which was for the public, which didn't talk about money. Because I thought I'd just remove that. We also, before I went away, I got Phil to not summarise it, basically annotate the video and make it in text and then word it with his nice word, to make it into English. So I think that went down well as well. So that's good. I'm kind of in limbo a little bit at the moment because, as I said before I went on holiday, all the chassis were paid for to be manufactured. That is ongoing now. All the internals, cables, and everything had all been ordered a couple of weeks earlier, so it's all ready in time. So we're on that, path now. On the subject of payments, two things. Firstly, thanks to everyone who's, since my last, I've had probably 80 people do the balances, which has been great. And in the background, now, again, if you can pay by Wise, please do. For one reason is as you probably know, if you pay by Wise, you're getting a couple of extras, and we're looking after you, obviously, maybe bonus bits. If you're waiting for the credit cards, it looks like we may be okay very soon, but I don't want to... I've been here before. This is with a big bank. I don't want to name them, but this is with a big bank. And they know the full story, so I've actually got someone working with me on it to help us the process, so they've got all the information they need, that kind of thing, and there's no hidden details. So I'm hoping we can get that back soon. As soon as it gets approved, I'll tell you. But what that means is, if that happens, all problems are solved. But of course, everyone who pays by credit card, you're not going to get the manual, not going to get, because I have to pay percentage on the card, 2 or 3% on the card. So, so anyway, so all the people who've done the Wise thing, you basically saved the project. I know I keep saying it, but you've saved the project. And I'm still looking into the best way of saying thank you. I have some ideas. But the credit card sales, again, I appreciate everyone, because it wouldn't have happened without everyone putting the initial amount in. So do not misunderstand me there. It's been really helpful having people pay by that, because it means basically we got enough money. Everything's paid for the 1,000, and then the 2,000 of lots of small parts. But it means we're not far off having enough money to pay for another 1,000. Probably need another 200 people to pay paper-wise. If that happened, then, it's good for everyone else. So therefore, the people paying by Wise, again, will be thanked in other ways. But I've already mentioned that, and I don't want to labour it. But if you can pay, please do pay by Wise. So really, I mean, we're now just waiting for for them to be made. I'm waiting for a time to go to China. So when on this, I'm timing it so on this second week of assembly, I go out for a week and I can make sure everything's going smoothly. That's kind of important to me, to make sure that that everything is as planned. And you know, any issues will resolve while I'm out there and take action. I don't think there will be, because you know, we've put a lot of effort into making this go smoothly, but yeah, lots of hiccups along the way, obviously. So at the moment, it's a little bit quiet. So I'm quite happy to answer. This was a Q&A. That's what, stick some questions. I'll answer them. Don't put any questions. I'm going to go and watch telly. But I did want to do this to give you the opportunity. If you haven't watched that video that I did, recent video I did, go on Kickstarter, have a look and watch the latest update and watch the video. It does go into town on the whole progression from what we promised, which now I look back and I go, oh God. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it would have been good, and you know, it would have been a good product, but it's nothing compared to what we got now. And that largely is thanks to Appy. And also for the huge numbers of people that backed the project, because we had that huge number, I knew I had more funds to do more things. I mean, I went way overboard, you know, really investing for the future. So, and there's no real questions. Okay, so someone asked the question, dumb question, does the monitor have brightness and contrast and tint? So there's a basic monitor settings. I have it, they're all in the manual. Basic monitor settings, you know, brightness, color, contrast. There's no tint. Tint is color, and you know, is saturation in? No, saturation is not in there. There's tons of them, but in the background, if you go, there's an advanced menu which you can mess around with. It really goes to town. Be careful. You can always reflash it. I think. But be careful with those settings. But there is I'll do a tutorial on that to try and explain it. But there's loads of settings in now that's the panel and the main slot naught controller. I did get confused on the question I was thinking, because on the old GBS there was 3 pots for adjusting red, green, and blue. They're no longer on here, so you can't adjust that. You don't need to. But there's a lot you can do if you've got the scaler, anything going through the scaler, there's a ton of stuff you can do with that. There's more adjustment than you need, let's be honest about this. Marcus said about no backlight adjustment. Yes, backlight adjustment is an advanced setting. It's hidden away, but it's set to 100%. And you can tone it back if you want. But that's in the administrator part of the slot 0. When do you think we got the opportunity to add to our order? Do it anytime you like. Loads of people have. So Dave, if you do want to add some, do it now, because they'll all tell me you've done it and I'll remove the shipping. So if it's an internal part you're adding, I just remove the shipping, which obviously, especially in some cases, really helps. And get that in, and then it'll save holding up the order, because it won't be long before we're not far off. I did to give you timings. I mean, I can tell you now, roughly 12 weeks, 10, 12 weeks, so, well, 12 weeks, something like that. But I'll tell you when it gets on the boat. Kudos for co-star. Kudos for staying the course through all difficulties. I couldn't really do anything else. My family is dependent on this. I've literally bet the farm on it. Yeah, I didn't have any choice. But having said that, I don't quit. Try and, as they said in the movie, work the problem. There you go. Do you have any plans for cards that you wish to share? I've shared them all. If you watch that video, you can see them all. I think the key ones at the moment is the iMega, which is the iMega 3K, which is a brilliant board. I don't know when we're going to do it because it's basically finished, but we're waiting for some bits to be finished from Claude. Once he's done that, we'll implement them into the board. The thing about that is it's putting all the Amiga displays through the HDMI, and I'd rather ship with that. And so that we're waiting for that. As some of you may or may not be aware, as you know, because of the product coming, I have for a long time now been saying to Michael Schulz that when I get things going, I would offer him €1,000 to finish the Wi-Fi. And you probably noticed it took a while. So a couple of months ago, I said, "You on?" Took him 6 weeks. And then he got €1,000. So if you're thinking how wonderful it is that all of these Pi Storms have got Wi-Fi, that's why. It's not to say because he's been a very busy man, but you know, it's contribution to his holiday fund. That's how I work it. And you know, so I wanted to make sure that when I ship it, when I ship my board, it's fully Wi-Fi. And I wanted that, and of course it'll be nice and stable. And in the meantime, everybody gets it. I think a lot of people probably won't even notice it, you know. But just to be aware, this project made that happen. So, does the monitor have standard VESA mount or only the stand? No, it has a VESA mount on the back. It's the 200 by 200 one. So it has got those. They're 4mm M4s. Now, would it take a VESA mount frame? To be honest, I don't know. And it would probably be a bit of a dumb thing to do because you're plugging stuff in and out of that all the time. Now, I haven't tested it with the frame. I know we've got exactly the right. It's, as I said, 200 by 200. So theoretically it will work. But how well it works in practice, I don't know. Oh, back on the cards. Oh, yeah, so that was the Amiga. Then there's the, I suppose the other one is, gone brain dead. Pandora, you should already know about. You know what Appy's like. Can you do me a Pandora plugin? Done it. It's like, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and I've got second generation, and it's great. Now, it was not, I've shown that already. But we're not going to ship that. I've already got a company in China that we've discussed terms and costs, and they already make Pandoras, kind of high-end ones. They're going to make based on our template card design. They're going to put it on there, Pandora on there, and manufacture a specific one with a high-end chip for us. Now, it does mean that because obviously I'll be selling them, I can't go getting myself into trouble. So you'll buy it with very little software on it. You'll have to put your own library on it. I'm going to see what we can get away with. But reality, I don't intend getting sued by Nintendo or any others. But it will be made so that you can drop your own ROMs on there and create your own library. If other people do a distribution, that ain't doing me. So that's the plan for that, because as you can see, it's that one there, and they are actually really good if you just want to play games. If you just want to play games, and they're nice and cheap. And the other thing about doing it as a standalone card is half the price, because if we make a mount frame and then put the card on top, it's twice the price. So we get the cost right down. I'm expecting like £50 ish. So that, don't quote me on that, but it's in that ballpark figure. And that'd be a fairly good quality CPU and GPU. Are the speakers magnetically shielded? Man, that's not very good. But the answer is no. You get too near it. But they're not. It's not CRT, so they're not affected. Someone's going to tell me that's a bad thing. There is a massive metal frame internally, so basically it's like a Faraday cage. All the cards go into essentially more or less a Faraday cage. Now I'm gonna be careful what I say because I didn't pass physics. But I'm not sure what your concern is, but it's they're magnets. Will be using close to, oh, okay. Yeah, but they're quite a way away. I mean, the speaker, the magnet's about that far away from the edge of the monitor. It's a long way away. Just don't stick the damn things. Don't stick floppies next to the monitor. Any monitor. Don't stick them near a monitor. I mean, that's the first thing we always learned. Don't put them near your 1084. So keep them clear. But you know, it's literally about 3 inches away from the sides, and dead center in the vertical. So the chance of you having any issues, I can't see it because the magnets aren't against the edge of the monitor. They're about, you know, long way in. If we add to the order any instructions on making additional payments, do we just... Yeah, it's the same one, but just make sure you contact me first. If it's an internal parts, I'll remove the shipping. And that can be as much as £7 for the UK, up to God knows what if you're going to Australia. So just make sure you contact me. I remove the shipping, and you're all good. Any estimate on how much the Amiga 3K will cost? It looks... Yeah, look... I don't know. My aim was to sell it for 250 to 300. I don't know if we can. I don't know. I wanted to sell it for 200 quid. I don't think that's possible. But I can't see why we can't sell it for about 250. But that's not including. That's standard board. That's not including the Pi 3B. But the standard board about 2, because you know those FPGAs ain't as expensive as people say. Some are. But the ones most people use are not that expensive, and the ones we use, I think about 50 quid, something like that. It's supply that's the issue, so we may have to try and change them. So that's why it's still in flux. But if I can get it at that kind of price, I'll make. I don't want to make a lot of money on them. I'll be honest. I want people to have them. But yeah, that's, you know. But you can stick a Pi in if you want. We've got this lovely thing called AMI Hybrid, which we developed with Dimitri, who did Amiberry. It was then taken on by Jan from Amikir, and also Chris, who does Pi Amiga. I think he's now implemented the stuff that we put on there. You need to look into that. I've got videos on it, but that's a really nice. I'm really funny, and I just kind of, no, I want this, and this. And I got everything I wanted. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to finally having the monitor in my hands. Yeah, I know. Oh, don't worry, I haven't died. I get 30 minutes on my camera, as you probably all know, and it was on a bit. Yes, I know. I just want to give them to. I just want them in people's hands. Because this is, it's. I'm not going to say it's more frustrating for me than it is for you, because at least I know what's going. Everything. I mean, I do tell you nearly everything. There's also certain things I don't, but I do tell you nearly everything. But it is, you know, especially like at the moment, I can't do. They're being made, you know, and then they're going to be on a boat. And so for the next 3 months, apart from visiting China, it's not much. It's set in stone. There's not much I can do. At certain points, you know, the one thing I have got to do is, when the manual's finished, but I want to make some changes. I'm in an RM whether I release it beforehand, but it's one of those things where I'd rather send it with the monitor when we release the monitors and then do it then, because I haven't got time for answering questions about, oh, you spelt this wrong, or sensible questions as well. You know, like, you've made this mistake, which I'm all for if I've made a mistake, but I'd rather you get the mistake when you got the monitor, we'll correct it and update it. But there you go. Will you have keyboard mouse available for the iAmiga 3K at the same time? Well, it's just a PS2 keyboard and mouse. The problem I've got is stock. I did this before with the cases, It's a pain in the arse because you have to buy so many, and they sell quite slowly, and you can just go on Amazon and order the things. So the answer is you'll be able to get them. Black's probably easier than white. White's very hard, but black's easy. Ice Darius. Are there any plans for additional colour cases? No. No. Of course you like the idea of blue. There's lots of other colours, but no, the answer is no. And that is purely down to stock. I can't. I mean, I've got a 17 and a 19. The 17's turned into an absolute pain in the arse. Absolute. You know, when I've got 860 monitors sold at the moment, and about 25 17-inch. Costs thousands. This is what I agreed to. But everyone, 20% of people wanted the 17, and it's now about 4%. So that's been a pain in the butt. The shielded speakers question is making me imagine you could simulate CRT warping and discolours. No. No, it's not. The magnets do not affect the panels. If you want to pretend they do, fill your boots. But no. Where are we now? 20 minutes. Okay. But I'm gonna give you a minute. You can ask if you got some more questions. I'm happy to answer them, but I do want to go and sit downstairs and have a rest. What I would say at the moment is, there's not really much to say, is there? I just, I went on holiday, come back. I'm still probably in holiday mode, but of course, Alfie and Caroline haven't been too well. They've both been a bit ill. So if they got some bug when they come back, so. I don't think I'm going to catch it. Another question. If you didn't opt for certain add-ons such as the scaler, will those be available down the road? Yes. It's fine. To clarify, the bag is separate, not included within. Yeah, it's really expensive, the bag. Yeah, it's not included. In fact, I've taken the bag offline. I've stopped selling the bag. So if you haven't paid already, in theory the bag is hidden. Now you can't get to it, because we're discussing with the people who make the bags to sell them separately, so you can ring them up or get on their website and order, and they'll ship that direct to you. Because it's that stock shipping. It's trying to streamline stuff. So yeah. What are you most pleased with that has changed from the original spec? Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to think about that. Oh, the backplane. Well, to be honest, even before the original, we had it in the Kickstarter about a backplane. So that's not really new, but it's just the amount of functionality this backplane has. I mean, it's benign. It's not processed or anything like that, but it just slap a card in, it works. And it's transformed the project. So that I still think probably the best bit. I mean, you could set the scale. I mean, the S-Video board, instead of a little box, we now got a lovely little board that's been custom made with RF. That's nice, but it's not the backplane. I think the backplane's everything about this project. I'm glad to hear that the bag manufacturer may become distributor for your bag. Yeah, I mean, look, they're a British company. They make these all over, and they sell them all over the world, ship them all over the world. So in theory, it shouldn't be an issue. If there are any problems, because the first half of people have already ordered, they're fine. Yeah. Also, when I phoned him, he said, "Oh, I've got to check the pricing." I went, "Great, I've already committed to a price." But so I don't think I'll probably make about a £5 on it because I've got to put. I think it was a bit, not a mistake. I think they're great. The bags are fantastic. In fact, I've ordered 100 because I've sold about 85, 90. It seems to be 10%. I've sold, and I'm going to keep 4 or 5 for me because they're absolutely brilliant. No wires. Yeah, I mean, pretty much no wires. No loose wires. The only thing you're really going to have inside there now is power cables for a Pi, power cable connected for like the Mister, and maybe HDMI lead. But that's it. The rest of it is plugged onto the back. So if you've got a board that's just got a slot, there's no cables. Slap. And that's the real key. Yeah, that's what I think about playing. Even though, and I know we had it originally, but because I kind of, when Appy said about it, I said, yeah, I didn't think I thought it might be a bit complex. And if you saw the video, you saw the green one, which is literally just tracks between it. The difference between that and what we have now, wait to get the manual and see what it can do. Since I got a free slot now, this video, how can I change the order to include the HDMI splitter and the Pi mount? With the HDMI splitter, we'll just go in and create a new order, add the HDMI splitter. Do you mean by splitter? Do you mean the 5-way? It's a different MES board on top of slot 0. That's all. Because by a standard, the standard slot 0 comes with just a MES board that's got all of the AVs, the composite and that stuff, right? But if you get the HDMI, you get 4 extra HDMI outs. Actually, does it work out to that? Because you use 1 internal. Yeah, it's about 4 or 5. You end up with about 4, 5. 5. Really should look, shouldn't I? It's 5. 1. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Might be 5. But you end up with loads of them, which is quite nice. Are there any other third-party boards in the works beyond what's been shown so far? So we've been in discussions with, I ain't going to tell you about them, but I've been talking to a couple of companies that are interested in doing stuff. But I think for now, having Pandora and the Amiga, because remember the Amiga can simulate the Atari ST if you want that. Although I don't, even though we've got MIDI, I don't know, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So that's a potential, but you've always got the Pis and you've got the Misters and so on. But hopefully there'll be more. I mean, if anyone out there's got a project, get in touch. Buy a monitor because you ain't going to get anywhere otherwise. I'll give you all the information. We already have a template design. We can just give you a project. I forget what it is. Damn, I forgot the name of the software that Apple uses. But we can give you the full dump of the whole project and then you just add your stuff onto it. It's really simple. Oh God, I'm glad there's lots of questions. Since I got the free slot now, I've done that. Since I already paid the balance of my old monitor. Yeah, you can add it whenever you like. Yeah. Just making it. Yeah, someone's already answered it. Go my other account here today. This is. Oh man. Oh, okay. Right. You go with the USNC. Okay. By the way, the iAmiga coming. How fast is it compared to a base Amiga and graphics? Right. So, the standard board is based on the Mini Mig 9.6. I think it's 6. But basically, it's an ECS machine only. Anyone complains, says, "Oh, the AGA, come and buy something else." Just use the Mister. It's it's literally like having an Amiga 500 plus. Okay, because you've got 2 meg of chip RAM. You have 3 meg of slow RAM, which is the only. Although, to be fair, I run Scala with some really high res stuff, high res interlace animation stuff, but it's running at 7 megahertz, just like 7 point whatever, as the standard. So it's literally the standard card is literally an Amiga 500 plus, 2 meg chip, 3 meg slow, and it runs great. Slap in a Pi Storm, which is the real ultimate aim, and it'll kill anything out there, really. It's brilliant. But it's ECS, and of course, but it comes with RTG and 24-bit graphics. You know, fantastic it is. It comes with Wi-Fi. It's got a MIDI. It's got everything. It's got all the bells and whistles. So it's just ECS. And I know some people are, but you know, I don't worry too much about that. Maybe one day there'll be an AGA version, but that'll be really expensive. Because the problem we got is chips we use are not too expensive, and they can do the ECS chips easy, so it keeps the cost down. And you stick a Pi Storm on it, and it accelerates it beyond madness. I mean, it'll eat a vampire for breakfast while doing your dishes. You know what I mean? And costs half the price, maybe less, with the Pi. In fact, actually, I think by the time if you buy the monitor and don't have the scaler, you buy the monitor and put the iMega in, it will probably be the same price as a standalone vampire, but with a monitor. Anyway, enough of that. But it is still vaporware at the moment. So, question: any plans for dust cover? Oh God. No. Yeah, no. There's plenty of people out there can make that. I haven't got time, mate. You know, I can encourage. You know, the way I usually do is go. We'll see. Maybe we can get a Kickstarter update with nice high-res pictures of the backplane and pod boards in there. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all, actually. Because I do everything in video. It's easy for me. I find it easier. I'm not very good at writing. Hence Phil. But I obviously have to pay Phil because he's a professional. So I have to be careful how much I get him to do. Maybe a cover in the future. Hi Fassy. Show curry. Not curry. Kebab. Looking forward to that. Awesome 500 plus compatibility is a good slot to shoot. Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful as well. Maybe I should do a video just on that. Just standard. It's as good as what I had when I started. Probably better, but really fast drive access. Actually, yeah, it is pretty fast drive access speed as well. It has internet Wi-Fi capability for the Amiga side. Dang, you're going to need a modern browser. Yeah. So it's important to understand that the Wi-Fi only works if you plug in a Pi Storm. You don't get Wi-Fi with the standard board. That doesn't happen because we use the Pi 3's Wi-Fi. That's how it works. But yeah, it should be. Well, it is. I've got two here. That's a good point. No, hang on. That monitor's got one in it, and that one's got the standard. That's not the iMega running that, and obviously that's not either. But these two have got iMegas in. So we've actually got three working iMegas. We have two others that are a bit twitchy, hence he's not a product yet. but the working ones are just great fun. Does the internal mount block Wi-Fi a lot? No. The only thing you might find, I mean, I've had no problem with it because that monitor's got it in it. Yeah, no problem at all. I've not actually done a speed test, but because remember I said it's almost like a Faraday cage inside the monitor, so anything because of the metal chassis. Now, having said that, because the frames, you got metal frames hold it all in, but there's nothing at the top. Okay, so you've got it metal down the side and underneath because you've got the frames. Yeah. So if you have any issues, just put it in the top slot, and of course then it'll just go straight for the plastic at the top. So it shouldn't be any issues. I've not had any problems with Wi-Fi. No more than the fact that my room here is quite away from Wi-Fi. So it's no different. So I've had no issues with it. It works really well. And you're right about the browser. If these monitors really sell well, I'm gonna put a big amount out for people. If you make this browser, I'll give you this money. It seems to work. How many review units are going to send out? Any specific YouTubers we expect reviews from? Very good question. Let me take a swig. No beer. I'm cutting back on the beer. I don't drink a lot. 1 bottle a night usually, or 5 bottles a week. But I just always come back. Got a bit of a stomach. Well, it's actually not too bad. It's going down because I'm exercising and not drinking so much. And get back to the question. How many review units? Okay. There were only 2. Well, initially, I promised 2 review units. And altogether now, who's going to get them? Peter. For those who don't know, Nostalgia Nerd. He's getting the first 2. No one else is getting them before him. He's getting them before anyone, right? The only people who've got these monitors is me and Appy. And then when I come back from when I leave China, 2 of the units, I'm going to get a black and a white. They're going to fly them back to me. They're going to be Peter's. He's going to get timing on the video. I don't know yet because we don't want to rush it out. Because my concern is, because I don't know if we're going to sell hundreds of. We ain't selling hundreds of thousands, but there's a good chance we could sell tens of thousands, and so it's going to be an issue with ramping. So getting too much publicity might cause problems. Because I think because the first video is nearly 1 million views, I think his follow-up could do the same, but this time people have got actual fundamental facts about the product, how it's gone, etc., know all about it and make their decision. I've got 750 people already on the over 750 people on the waiting list, and that's with no PR, and that's the same video. So I have thoughts. I'm not going to tell people. You probably know the people I've talked to in the past, but I've got some thoughts on some big YouTubers who have shown interest in retro already. Whether this will be something that interests them, I don't know. I think it will, but who knows. That's one of my jobs once I've got distribution sorted out. So once we get past this 2,500 units and we start production going to keep up, hopefully a smooth build. Hopefully not a hope we're not going to get that tail off and die. But if I'd like a smooth increase so we can manage it. But yes, I'm not telling you, but I have got some ideas. And you probably know if you know who I've spoken to in the past. There's 3 or 4 that I've used in the past, retro people that hopefully will review it. But they're I wouldn't say small fish, but retro, which is kind of niche. But there's been a few of the big guys out there that have got a lot of interest in retro, and this solves some of the issues. Not all of them, but solve some of them if you just want to get going. That's what he's saying there. So we'll see about that. It is a good question, though. Oh, lots more questions. Yeah. Okay, so Malachi, when you get your monitor, feel free to review it. I mean, you know, I was talking about, you know, some of the supplying a review unit, because they probably won't be spare, and I like to meet the reviewer personally, go and see them, sit down, discuss it, answer any questions, and then go, right, please don't kill my project, and then leave it up to them. What we got here? How long did? Oh, okay. How long does it take to assemble, test a unit? About half an hour, 40 minutes. Testing, the testing, they're going to be, when they're assembled, because they're all going to be assembled in China. So they're going to be assembled in China, and a quick test. Turn it on, does it blow up? As long as the thing comes up with the screen, then it gets packed up, sent to me. Then we do a soak test. So we set up 25, 30 monitors on a bench, turn them all on, put a video into it, go through a sequence of events, make sure they're all okay, and then box them again and ship them. So I don't want any returns. This is the idea. I don't want any returns. Every single product's going to be thoroughly tested. Now, it will be the same as we go forward. Now, is something going to get damaged in shipping? I hope not, but they're bolted in solid to a metal frame. The chance of them getting damaged has got to be minimal. Would it be okay? Oh, hang on. Would it be okay if we do reviews ourselves? What? Hey, it's your product. You paid money. You are more than welcome to discuss it. If you love it, yes, please. If you hate it, just say it was someone else. Hopefully you won't hate it. I can't believe anyone will hate it. You might. I'm expecting to get some people who expected it to be a RetroTink 4K killer. Oh, it's not. Well, no, it's not. It's a different product. So I'm gonna do a video to try and explain that to new people. This is what it is. This is what it isn't. You know. But as long as people understand what it was meant to be, then I think everyone will be happy. And of course, the Arcuda project. Hopefully they get to the end of the journey, because that probably would be something special. Really expensive, but I think that would be pretty special. Are you sending the monitors in 2024? Oh, hang on a second. Let's go back up again. The answer is yes. Would it be yes? Any plans for case display bundle? They after the Kickstarter, because there's only one panel. In the end, I didn't do a separate panel. There's only one panel, and I'm probably going to just include the scaler, and so the price is going to go up. But it'll probably include the complete system, because ultimately we can't have different versions all over the place. So yeah, it's going to be simplifying the product. Let's be posh. The product stack's going to be kept small. Yeah. Yes, they're definitely. Yeah, I mean, as Taja said, about 3 months, and that you'll know because, as I said, as it stands now, we're about a week, just over a week into production of the chassis. Everything else is probably almost done. Another 3 weeks for the chassis, and then it's assembly, which is about 4 weeks, and then it gets put on a boat. Once it's on the boat, it's 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks, and so that's how long it is. I mean, and we're on the treadmill now. We're actually on that journey because everything's been paid. It's just a case of there may be delays. I think I've got everything planned. Everything's arriving at the right times. Everything's, they're chomping at the bit because they want to ship to Sarah, because they want me to order more of their parts. And so I'm getting a lot of support from the Chinese companies. Wonderful support. I'll do a political one. How long do you anticipate it taking the New Year's to figure out the monitor and all the features of fully decked out monitor? There's a lot going on here. The only real thing, look, everyone knows how to use a monitor and a TV. You turn it on, you have a few settings, you switch channels. Everyone knows that. The only complexities were going to be with the scaler, because you switch to VGA and there are 3 different positions of VGA and each one of them is 2 positions. So you have to, usually the scaler is pretty good. You plug a signal into it, it goes, it's a SCART, right? And it picks it up and it goes. By default, if you've got, for example, the S-Video card, by default, if you switch to VGA, the RF white noise screen appears. And then press the VGA again, it will switch to whatever's plugged in and live. You can channel through it. I will do a video on this. So that bit's something you have to understand. So you have to think of all the channels are fine. If you plug VGA in the back at the bottom in the slot 0, it's fine. It's all as you'd expect. Everything's as you'd expect. When you get onto the scaler, it gets a bit more complex because it's so much that it does. I mean, that is a subject on its own, because you've got RGB SCART going, you've got composite going through the SCART, you've got EGA, CGA, RGB, RBGBI. And then you've got the S-Video, and then you've got the RF. That one little bot. It's got so much going on. That's, and then you've got the control for the website. Now, we've got basic controls set up, profiles set up automatically. They won't suit people. Everyone's going to want to tweak them. There's a web page, you log into it, you change it, save the settings, bang, it's there. There's a little jog dial so you can go up and down. The scaler block plugin is the one that's going to take some getting used to. It is going to now hopefully we've got it right out of the gate so that most people can just plug it in and go, right? But you're going to find that your display is kind of shrunk a bit or over there a bit, and you go, it sucks, and the auto won't quite get it. I'll come back to that later, because I'll come back to that another time. But there's an easy setting. You log in and you just move it around like this and scale it how you want, and then say save as Amiga or save as Atari or whatever. So you can tweak it and you save the settings, and then you got slot 1, 2, 3, and you select them with the jog dial. That's the only bit that's going to take a little bit. It's a little bit of complexity. The rest of it, the slot 0, plug composite in and audio. You get composite by switching AV1, AV2. If I think we've got it, because it's on the remote. We didn't want to change the remote controls, okay? And it says TV and it says AV. That's AV1 and AV2, okay? That's all you need to know. And then you've got all the separate HDMIs, so you can manually toggle the HDMI channels. Yeah, manually. It's set to manual by default. However, there's an auto version. Now, it's not perfect. And I've told them it's not. Oh God, I'm chatting here, aren't I? It's not perfect. So I've told them they must set it to manual and then go in, and people can, if they want to use it, because it's kind of, if you get a source and you plug it in, it'll switch to the HDMI, correct one, yeah. If you try being clever and pull it out and put another one in, that kind of thing, you can catch it out. It's just what it is. So you can switch it back to manual. I leave it in manual. It's so easy. You go HDMI 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's easy. So there's those, and I think people are gonna. That's the 2 areas people are gonna go. Oh, I got to keep pressing the button for the HDMIs. Well, just that. Don't have the big one. Just have HDMI 1 and 2. So that you've got that. There's also that's it really. The VGA. Now you have to remember the VGA is basically a lot going on in the VGA. We switch between VGA signals. So on the scaler, there's 3. Yeah, 3 VGAs. In fact, if you take the whole block, there's 4, because you've got the RF, you've got the CGA RGBI 9-pin, you've got the SCART, and you've also got the component that goes through. Although I think that goes direct, maybe wrong. That goes direct, still under VGA though. So that's the bit where people, there may be some confusion. That's the bit where people are going to go, oh, it's really complicated. But, you know, I'm going to have to just, I'm going to do it before you even get them. There's going to be a video, and it just goes through. I mean, it's already in the manual. It goes through and it says, right, these are the issues you're going to have. And I'm going to go through all of that to make it absolutely clear. Because it's going to be important that, you know, people... Because I remember the OSC, brilliant scandal. Oh no, it's not scandal, but whatever they call them. It's a brilliant product, but quite complex. And so there's a ton of stuff you can do in the GBS control, a ton of stuff. But that's going to take a little bit of knowledge, people, and you have to hook into it with your phone or with a laptop or home computer. Just connect that to your network. Actually, no, you don't. You connect your computer to the monitor by Wi-Fi, and you can connect your monitor to your router, and then it's simple. But that's a little bit difficult to do. But you know, it's a bit twitchy. Well, it's not. No, it's not twitchy. That sounds terrible. You just have to. It's, you know, you have to go into it, set it. Don't get it wrong, because you can't connect. Yeah. So that's that. Right. I've done that one. Thanks so much for taking all the time to answer questions. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving to you. Why would people view it as competing with? Well, I'm just imagining people doing that. It's not. You know, I mean, I've been very clear that our scaler cannot compete with the retro Tinks, for example, because they are scan line converters, not page scan converters, and there's massive difference. But what this does do, it does well, and it's not expensive. It's got a ton of features, like when you've got, as I said, you've got RGB SCART, you've got RGBI with 9-pin inputs for EGA and VGA, RF, S-video, loads of composite inputs, component input. You've got nearly everything you could possibly want. So it's all there, but it's it is what it is, as long as people take it on that basis and understand that's what it is. Now, that doesn't mean we're not working on stuff. I need to get a corner ready for the monitor. Yep. Is it possible to disassemble the stand of the monitor VESA mounted? Yeah. It's one nut. Under the nut, it all falls off. It's simple. If you want to know my genius design for the stand, check it out. I stole it. Acorn monitors. I looked at all my monitors and I looked at the Acorn monitor and went, that's really clever. Because I'd already thought of doing it with a ball. Couldn't quite figure out how to make it work, but they'd done it on that, so I nicked it. I nicked the design. So sue me. But it makes it look retro. It works lovely. It's got enough movement. It goes round. It's got springs. It's just, you know. I'm sure some people are going to complain about it, but I think it's brilliant. Oh, maybe because you can't do it like an Apple. You know, push it from the top and it just push the button. But you can get the sides and go like that. It's lovely. What do you estimate the plug-in pull-out life cycle for backplane boards? Oh, I don't know. Don't. I mean, look, we've been pulling in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out forever on these boards. No issues. They've all got gold edge connectors. I mean, the ones that Appy's made have always had silver, but the ones that have come from China samples, they've all got gold. So they should last. I mean, how long does a 2000 plug-in boards last? 30, 40 years. But you're not going to be... It's not like a cartridge, but it's the same technology, so it should be the same, should work the same amount, but just don't. Do you know which courier will be using UK? Worldwide DHL now. Fusion 360? Yes. Can I buy just an empty 17-inch case at some point to be try stuffing the guts from a bank? Yes. Don't come crying to me when it don't fit. When the bezel don't fit. It's your problem. But having said that, if it's 17-inch, you might just have to drill some different holes through the metal. If you want to do that, I don't think it's going to... If you're a backer and you want to do that, the trouble is at the moment, all the bare cases are marked as Arcuda Specials. So we won't know. I mean, there's about 40 people. I've tried to tell everyone, buy the monitor, upgrade it later. To be honest, they're all coming over with... Actually, to be fair, they're all coming over with monitors. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. OSSC, thank you. For a desk cover, speak to So Ready. They're the guys make covers. Oh, okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, why not? Microvitec has that, I think. Yeah, Microvitec might, but I nicked this from the Acorn monitors, which are probably Philips actually, and it's just worked really well. If you look at it, because I'd already done it, but it didn't quite work right. And then I looked at theirs and went, "Oh, that's how you do it." Right, let's just have a. What's this message? Okay. Sorry. No. So, yeah, sorry about that. I just had a message from someone, and okay, I will mention it. I've got Appy on. I'm going to mention Appy's not too well. He's in hospital. So I'm not going to go into any details. He's in hospital. He's been in there for a week. Probably there for another week. So any nice messages you want to send to me, send them over. I'll pass them on. Any bad ones, I will cut your nuts off. Because he means a lot to me. Yeah, so he's not too well at the moment. That's all I'm going to say. Right. I think we're done. I don't. So September, October. Yeah, I mean that's about right. I'm looking at September. No promises, no nothing like that. But I'm looking at September for the first 1,000. The next batch I have no idea because it's another 3 months. It depends on if people pay their balances. How many pay their balances? If we can get up to 1,000 monitors paid, because at the moment we're up to 874 or something like that. If I can get up to just over 1,000, then I should have enough funds available to just pay for the extras for the next batch, because they're all the extras. That's the problem I've got, and I have to order 1,000, so I have to maybe delay it. Hence that whole thing on the back burner of the waiting list people, which I'm trying not to do. But if it means this project, me shipping out the second 1,000 to people who are waiting to pay for credit cards, then I may use that because it might get delayed, and I don't want that. But I work so hard on this. Best wish. Yeah. On the subject of Appy, I don't misread anything into what I'm about to say. But basically, the monitor, Appy's work was finished probably 2 months ago. So the fact that he's not well, don't worry about it. It's not, apart from the fact I think the world of the guy, and we've got work to do. Everything's been done, signed off, and it's been manufactured, so it's all good. So we haven't got to worry about this. There's no pressure. I just want to get him well, and then, you know, when he's ready, he can continue with the stuff he loves doing. He loves doing this stuff, so yeah. But it's important that he gets better. Maybe, you know, maybe later on, if he wants to talk about, you know, then we'll maybe talk about it later on. But yeah, he's obviously he's been in hospital for a week, and he's going to be there for another week. So you know, he's not too well. Anyway, that's about it. I think I'm going to call again an hour. It's just impossible for me to do a half-hour video. Right, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you for joining in. It's been great. We're up to 120 viewers, which is nice. I've made this public, although I think I always do, actually, don't I? If I get any news, if and when I get the news, good or bad, on the credit cards, I'll let you all know. But again, it's in progress, but I don't know the answer yet. But it's better than the last time I applied somewhere else. The process has been better with their discussing like a business. They actually discussed my issues that I've got, and you know, like one of the issues is the amount of money that's coming in. You know. But anyway, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for sending a nice wish. I'm sure Happy will read this later. So if you all stick messages sending some love to Happy, that would be greatly appreciated. Because, you know. Anyway, thanks so much for joining in. He's looking around trying to find the buttons I've got to press. So I'm going to press that button. And I will do this again in 2 weeks. Okay. Maybe a little video in between. But I'll speak to you soon. Thanks so much.